You've heard the phrase your whole life. Your life flashes before your eyes. People say it after a car swerves at the last second, after a fall, after the moment a heart stops, and somehow starts again. You've always filed it away as a figure of speech, a bit of drama, the kind of thing people say because the truth is too big to hold. But the real answer is far stranger, and it may be literally, measurably true. Start by unlearning one thing. Death is not a switch. You picture it as a light going out. 1 second, on. The next, nothing. Clean. Instant. Final. But your brain has never worked that way, not once in your entire life, and in its final minutes it may do something almost no one expected. For nearly all of human history, no one could look inside a dying mind. The moment was private, invisible. It belonged to the person leaving and to no one else. Then, in 2016, in a hospital in Vancouver, the curtain slipped by accident. An 87-year-old man had fallen and injured his brain. To watch for seizures, doctors connected him to an EEG, a device that reads the electrical rhythm of your brain, the faint, constant storm of signals your neurons fire every second you are alive. The machine was recording when his heart stopped. It kept recording as he died. And for the first time ever, science captured a human brain in the act of shutting down. The neuroscientist who studied that recording was Ajmal Zemar. What he saw, he was not expecting. In the 30 seconds before the heart stopped, and the 30 seconds after, the brain did not go quiet. It organized. It produced a surge of gamma waves, the fast, tightly synchronized rhythm your brain generates in only a few situations. When you focus hard, when you dream, and above all, when you pull up a memory. Sit with that for a second. The signal that rose in a dying brain was the same signal your brain makes when you remember. Not noise, not the flat line of the movies, a pattern that looks, on the screen, like the act of remembering. So the oldest story we tell about death, the flash of an entire life, might it be describing something that actually happens? One recording is not proof, and Zemar was the first to say so. It was a single, accidental glimpse of one brain, one death. But it was not the only clue. Others had already seen something strange from a completely different direction. Years before, a researcher named Jimo Borjigin was studying rats at the exact moment of cardiac arrest. In the seconds after the heart stopped, the moment every textbook said the brain should fall silent, she watched the opposite unfold. The dying brain surged. A burst of activity more synchronized, more connected, more organized than the normal waking brain, arriving precisely when it should have been fading to nothing. She had to know if the same thing happened in people. In 2023, she found out. Her team studied 4 patients as they died, after life support was withdrawn, their families at the bedside. In 2 of the 4, as the heart gave out, the brain flared. A surge of that same gamma activity, concentrated in the strip of cortex most tied to conscious experience, a region some scientists call the hot zone of awareness. Why would a brain running out of oxygen suddenly light up the very area we link with being awake, being present, being someone? So the dying brain does not always fade quietly. Sometimes it flares, and that opens a harder question. If everything ends the instant the heart stops, then whatever a dying person feels should end there too. The evidence says it might not. That question belongs to Sam Parnia. For more than a decade, he has studied the only people who can actually report back. Those who died and returned. Cardiac arrest survivors. Heart stopped. Clinically dead. Brought back by the people around them. Most of them remember nothing at all, but a small, stubborn number return with something else. Not a dream, not a drug haze. A lucid, structured, oddly consistent experience, a sense of lifting away from the body, and a review of their life measured not by what they achieved, but by how they had treated other people. Not their bank account, not their job. The moments they were kind and the moments they were not. Different people, different cultures, different beliefs. And yet, the report comes back rhymed, as if the dying brain reaches for the same few things, no matter who is holding it. And Parnia found something on the monitors too. In some patients, Hidden flickers of near-normal brain activity appeared during CPR, sometimes up to an hour after the heart had stopped. A brain that should have been empty was, in bursts, switching back on. Now lay the pieces side by side, a surge of memory-like waves at the threshold of death, a flare in the seat of consciousness, lucid awareness in people who were, by every measure medicine has, already gone. None of this tells you what waits on the other side. But it quietly destroys the simplest story, that dying is just a fade to black. The truth points somewhere stranger. In its final act, your brain may not power down. It may light up. Why would it do that? No one knows for certain, but there is one idea worth carrying with you. As the oxygen drains, the systems that spend your whole life holding the brain in check, filtering, suppressing, keeping the full flood of memory and sensation at a manageable trickle, begin to fail. And when the brakes come off, everything stored inside may rush forward at once. Not as a glitch, as a release, which brings all of this back to you, to tonight. Because you already run a smaller version of this every single night. When you dream, your brain produces the same gamma rhythm that appears in that final surge. It replays memory. It stitches together faces and places and feelings you thought were long gone. No crisis, no ending required. You have rehearsed this exact pattern thousands of times, and never once noticed. So consider what that means for the thing you fear most. The dark at the very end may look, on a monitor, almost identical to the thing you do every time you close your eyes. And it means something about right now, too. The memories you are making today, the ordinary Tuesday, the face across the table, are not disposable. They may be the exact material your brain saves for last. You spend your life dreading a silence. The evidence hints that the last thing your brain reaches for may not be silence at all. It may be you, your memories, the faces that mattered, gathered up and played back one final time. You've heard the phrase your whole life. Your life flashes before your eyes. You always thought it was just something people said. It may turn out to be the last true thing your brain ever does.